Good evening, everyone. We apologize for the lack of music. Slightly kind of in between. Properly. Oh yeah. No, never. Yes, anybody. Oh, my teeth. Sarcasm is one of the. Hey, Captain Wentworth. Good to see you. Oh, crap. Video is breaking. Wonderful. That is not what I wanted to hear. Uh, I am really glad I decided to try this out. Only getting fragments of sound. That's wonderful. Uh, Everything is turned up completely. Why is this not working properly? All right, maybe it's just I need to talk louder and such. So to give an idea, yeah, I've been working with the Warlord Games. First of all, thank you very very much for the raid. Welcome in everyone. Yeah, I'm now talking directly into my microphone, which I usually didn't have to do, but I needed to get rid of the Elgato Wave XLR I had because it turned out that the thing was a piece of junk. I'm supposedly getting a new one from an RMA. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see if it's any better. The thing just kept flaking out on me. Sound kept disappearing. So I will try to continue and keep up with the, talking, making sure that I'm being very clear, talking to in the microphone. I want to thank everyone for joining us. So yeah, tonight the topic for tonight is the struggle is real. And uh, first of all, we're on a quick ad break, so I'm going to take this time to say that in addition to being kind enough to raid the channel tonight, Troller Games is a sponsor of this channel. They are the creators of Castles and Crusades, Amazing Adventures, a couple of other games. They will be they're currently bringing back a number of Gary Gygax publications that are in Kickstarter, and republishing some of the stuff that Gary worked on with them before he passed. They are also going to be bringing Barsoom at the World of Mars. Phoebe, DM's Quest, great to see you. So good to see you in chat. I hope you are able to hear me. I've been told that we are hearing some audio problems with the new setup. Yeah, so there's that. But so anyway, the struggle is real. It's one of those things where I'm not going to lie. It's been a bad few months. Um, I've been struggling, and tonight was a struggle to figure out what it was that I wanted to talk about tonight. Forward Games, thank you for the gift subs, Captain Mymore, Vamp Wickman, and DM Chris. I know two out of those three, and great to see. Great to see. Yeah, thank you so much. That's really appreciated. To give you a little insight into what's going on, and I have no issue talking about it. I've had 3 friends pass away in the last 3 months, 2 of whom I've known for about 30 years. And yeah, it's taken a toll. It's taken a toll. Everybody's going through a rough time as it is. Things are not easy these days. And for somebody who's like doing this thing on their own, it's definitely not been easiest things. I've been lucky. I mean, I've been lucky in some regards. I've had a wonderful group of players playing in the campaign, and it's been fantastic. They've been always up for the next adventure, asking me what we're doing next, and I've enjoyed the hell out of it. But I admit that I have struggled in between things. Dungeon Master Ty, good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Between the situation with friends passing away and just general struggles of being someone who's mostly trying to do this on their own. I currently am working at a point where I really don't have any mods. I anything I do, I need to create for myself. I've gone and find maps and things, so things have not been happening at a rate that I'd like them to happen. I don't have any illusions as to what I'm trying to accomplish with this channel. I just want to run games for people. I want to, something, let me get that. I do want to do a giveaway since many people are here, so let me get that started. Since the bot was so kind enough to, there we go. Exclamation point raffle to enter, $10 gift card for any PDF from the Troller Games website, or any digital product. There we go, and let me chat back. All right. So why am I bringing this up? I mean, I've become aware recently, looking around, how many content creators I know that have kind of just stopped, and I don't want to become one of those people. So it's one of those things where I've been looking for ways to just work through it. I have sought help. I am getting help dealing with some of the things that I have run across. I have a couple people who know some of the things that I've been dealing with, and so I don't know. It's one of those things where I figured I just kind of wanted to let people in a little bit, and we can just talk about whatever, talk about gaming, talk about what's going on, talk about pretty much anything's on the table. I did just celebrate a birthday, and I celebrated a birthday on Monday, and it was quiet. It was nice. I had had a nice day at a spa yesterday. That was one of my 2 birthday gifts, and it was made for a good day. Got to see my parents on the weekend, which was nice. But yeah, it's been an interesting time, and I'm just like trying to figure out what comes next. What is it that I really want to do, and how the hell do I get there? I want to run more games. I want to, I've got the campaign that's really getting going, and again, I mentioned it earlier. My players have been a blessing. I think there's like 20 active player characters. Oh, that's awesome. Sixth anniversary. That's great. I'm always happy to hear these kind of things. Anyone else has positive stuff that's happened to them? I listen. Please do share because we want the one thing that I'm very keen on is making sure that I celebrate wins. Wins for my friends, wins for people in general. Hey, Wickman, great to see you, sir. I hope everything's good with you, Chad. Oh, and congrats on getting the Troller Games gave you a gift sub. So, um, one of the things that was pretty cool is for those of you who are kind of tuned in to like streamer stuff, they just announced the Crit Award nominees, and I got to say it was pretty cool seeing people that I know personally on that list and getting the chance to vote for them. And there's quite a few that are there. Some of them I just have I follow them, and some of them follow me and such. There are a few that I've been lucky enough to meet and say that I've met in person and have had real conversations with, and count as friends in this space. So the opportunity to meet and able to vote for them for doing the cool stuff is really that was a pleasure. It's a highlight because I'm a firm believer that you should celebrate wins that your friends have. Kurt, yeah, something? I'm sorry, Kurt. I think I missed you coming in. Good to see you too, sir. I've watched. I mentioned that I've seen a few people drop off and no longer streaming, no longer running stuff, or at least not not publicly. And Tempest Vitamir or Vetamir, thank you so much for the subscription. Very kind of you. I really do appreciate that. But I've also seen some new things come out of it. There's some new streams that have come up. I've seen friends of mine branch out into different things, and I guess that's one of the things that I'm trying to figure out how to do. When again, I am kind of a one man shop, so any of the bright ideas that I come up with, I at this point I have to figure out how to bring them about myself. I'm not gonna lie, I have a stack of games, a stack of books, a stack of adventures. Probably just on the tables that surround my computer, there's probably about 8 different TTRPGs. And I kid you not when I would say I would love to run all of them. I'd love to stream all of them, honestly, because I want to, I want to share the fun and get people interested in other games. It's been a big thing for me over the last couple of years, last 2-3 years, branching out and trying the different things. It was D&D alone was a big part of my life for so long. There were a couple when I first started out. First started playing games. There were a couple of other TTRPGs that I played, but it still like always came back to D&D. And so now I've got the opportunity to bring other games to the table, bring other people into other games, and I've seen a lot of really cool stuff. Playing some Dragonbane, playing Pathfinder 2e is kind of really heavily D&D adjacent, especially when you compare it to 5e. But I mean, even C&C goes back to the old AD&D feel. But stuff like Dragonbane, Vaesen, Mothership, a lot of the Free League games qualify. There are other things as well. But again, I have to figure out how to get there, and it's been a slow process, and there have been times when I've really struggled and figure out how I want to do this, and finding the time and the energy and making sure that I do not burn out while I'm doing it, because it is easy to get down on yourself. Very, it's easy to get frustrated. It is easy to say, just ask yourself, what am I doing here? And I got into streaming almost, I wouldn't say accidentally. It's one of those things where I never considered it till I started watching people do it and got involved in the various communities. And I figured it was a good way, it was a good way to challenge myself because uh, I, was for a long time, I wasn't good. I was someone who was not really great with just having people taking pictures of me. And I got over that because I had a couple of friends and a girlfriend who were selfie crazy. So, every time we were somewhere doing something, there were selfies. So I learned really quickly to smile on demand. It was an interesting thing. And I kind of figured being on camera was kind of the next evolution of challenging yourself. And plus, it's cool being able to share the stuff that you're doing in a real time way with people that and hey, look, these are the things that I'm doing. This is the stuff that brings some joy to my life. And getting to play with people, and you know, I've had friends who've been good. I've had some friends who are good role playing, even if we're off camera. But when you get on camera, people are doing a little extra, and it's really cool. They get more into character, I think. Not that I ever put any pressure on anyone. I mean, if some people, if you're playing and you're just playing a character straight up, and you don't really have a strong, heavy, being able to find an in character persona, that's fine. I'm not looking for, like I say, I'm not looking for Shakespeare here. But I do notice that people do at least attempt a little extra. They get out of their comfort zone a little bit, and it's always really cool. Uh, but yeah. So some of us are very, I'm one of those people. Believe it or not, Chad, I am one of those people who used to be very. Well, I'm kind of. I don't know. I think I go under the term I like to use is the extroverted introvert. If I'm in a group of extroverts, or with certain people who bring it out of me, yeah, or even if I'm actually even if I'm like the least introverted of the introverts, then yeah, I become the extrovert, I guess. But after peopling for a while, I need my batteries to recharge. Heavily need to be recharged. Uh, yeah, so someone knows me very well. Oh yeah, it's an interesting thing because I can do it. Um, and I enjoy being social, but it's a lot. It's a lot because I was I grew up. I was not the most social person growing up. Not necessarily by choice either. So it's the kind of thing when I get the chance to be social, it's like yeah. Hurricane effect is here because I don't know. There was for the longest time. It was like I didn't know when this opportunity was going to come up again. So there's been times when I've been accused of being a little much. Possible. And I'm aware of it. I'm definitely aware of that. But yeah, I mean, so tell me what are some of the things that people in chat, if you're interested in sharing, if you've got good things that are happening for you, please share them because I know that would it help brighten my day a little bit. I honestly was not 100% sure that I was going to be streaming today, and that's when I realized that the fact that I was struggling to find something to stream about was a good topic on its own. Parents are visiting for, oh, that's awesome. Nice. I am happy to report that I will be heading out for the July 3rd, July 4th week, extended week. I'm taking an extended weekend, going visiting my brother out in the Pittsburgh area, and get to see my nieces and my nephew, and we're gonna do some talking about some gaming. I'm gonna bring some stuff with me, see if I can convince them to do some mini painting with me. maybe teach them how to play a game, because even though my brother was one of my D&D playmates when we were young, he stopped at some point and lost interest, but we'll see. Nice, Ty. Which convention is that going to be? Ooh, favorite mom and pop wonton place. Nice. RageCon in Reno. All right. That's awesome. Yeah, happy early birthday. Ty, quick question for you. And I hate to put you on a spot, but any new news as far as what next step for New of Arden is? For those of you who don't know, Dungeon Mister Ty is one of the two people who are who make up Adventure Slang, and they have a TTRPG that I've had the wonderful pleasure of being a playtester for. Nice, excellent. It's a game that New of Arden is something different, and think New of Arden, New Garden. Basically, you are playing characters in sort of a brand new world. I don't want to ruin the backstory for it, but it's a pretty cool setup. It's a novel idea, and I had great fun. And I only got to play one of the I don't remember what you call them. They amount to character classes, but what did you call them? Because it's not cultures. Yes, the culture, and the culture ends up being almost as both the class and person, who they are, and technically what class they are. There are two aspects to every culture, which makes them really, really fun. I cannot wait. It was a lot of fun. I miss my character. Playing a character that was music, was basically sound personified, and taking a musical direction was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I can't wait for that to come up. Maybe the mom and pop wonton place. That is awesome. I love I love mom and pop shop. I've been known. One of the things I've often talked about is the fact that I don't, as a general rule, normally go out to Italian restaurants. Obviously, when I'm in Rome, the time I was in Rome, that was a different story because, when in Rome. But I live in northern Jersey, but I also have, I'm the son of immigrants. My mother was born in Italy, and from the time I was young, we had pasta of various types and Italian food and such, homemade. So it kind of needed to be something really special. That's not to say that I wouldn't do Italian takeout, because sometimes you just get that craving and you need something quick and you don't want to make it yourself. But going to an Italian restaurant, it had to be something special. And there's this little place, it's about an hour from me, where it's a husband and wife, and their food is mostly based in the southern region of Italy. And it's funny. The husband, older couple, the husband is not only the head chef, but when it's slow and everything's under control, he'll come out and he'll play the piano in the dining room. The menu is not, it's not your generic Italian American menu. I mean, it's really, really good stuff. They've got one dish, honestly, though, we're kind of in love with. It's a oh goodness, a risotto dish with black truffles and sausage and other stuff mixed in, and oh my goodness, it is so good. Normally, what we'll do is we'll get that, and now we'll get that in one other dish, and then we'll just like trade off at the halfway mark, or we'll get an extra plate and we'll split them up so that we make sure that we try something different. Tempest Vedemir. I was published a couple of months ago in a new gaming magazine. Awesome. That is very, very cool. What was the article about, if you don't mind me asking? Or what was the topic of the thing that you were publishing? Hey, good to see you. I'm doing all right. We've kind of been discussing some of the struggles, but I've been getting help, and I've had pretty good support from people. I'm lucky to have some very special people in my life that have been really supportive in this time. Turn 3, good to see you. Also, for 10, go to Philly to rouse. Interesting. All right. Next time I'm in the Philly area, I will need to keep that in mind, because I don't head to Philly that often, but Philly is not all that far from me. It's about 2 hours. So, city in South Province. Okay, excellent. And I guess you published like the information about the city, in the magazine. Because that's always awesome. Love seeing what people do, especially when it's stuff like creating cities, because that's the kind of thing, if you're if you're any kind of game master in any kind of game, and you see stuff like that in a magazine, to me that is gold. That's the kind of thing that you can just look to bring into a campaign, bring into your campaign setting. Find a place where it works. Find a place where it fits in well, and drop it in, and suddenly you've got all new stuff, and you get to take advantage of the good work of people. I mean, it's these are the kind of things where don't let that stuff go to waste. One of the things, for those who don't know, and you might have noticed that this Twitch channel is part of the Greyhawk Creatives group. We have entirely sure how many streamers are part of it. It's quite a few. But one of the big things, and it's not all streamers actually, it's just basically creative people. Oh, awesome. Okay. Enjoy dinner, and hope to see you back when you're done. So, one of the nice things is there's so many people creating content that I've been able to take advantage of. Like there's a couple of different publications that are out. Actually, and I know at least one or two of them changed names, so I don't remember. One of them is Visions of Greyhawk. There was the Orth Journal, which I'm not entirely sure whether or not they're still putting out. It's been a hot minute since I've heard anything. I'll have to check in on that one. Then you have content creators like Carlos Slicing from Cat Entertainment, who, if you're a member of his Patreon, is constantly putting out stuff for the community, and eventually releases the community at large. But what's awesome is being able to take advantage of these things, and the realization that you don't. I mean, is it cool to build if you want to build everything yourself, go for it. I would never say that you need to do this. But if you're open to, using other creations and bringing them into your campaign, or you don't want to have to sit there and flesh out these are quick wins, things that you can bring in. My current campaign, the very adventuring guild that the players are a member of is a Carlos Slicing creation. I spoke to Carlos about it, and told him what I wanted to do, and he was stoked. It was one of the things where The idea that somebody was using his stuff in their campaign. You know, he's like, this is, you know, these this is the reason I make these, so that people use them. You know, not just throwing them out there to say, hey, look what I've created. It's look what I've created. Use it, please. And we do. I've also taken other elements from there's an article in Visions of Greyhawk that there's a knighthood that I've incorporated in the campaign. They've kind of been central, you know, repeating NPCs that I have made part of this knighthood, and yeah, it's definitely added to the campaign. It's these are things that I didn't have to go and create myself. I didn't have to create all the lore myself. And when you are doing this on your own, uh, that is, you know, that is a godsend. But that is a Tempest. That is awesome. Congratulations on getting it published. Uh, Congratulations on the other articles that you've gotten published. That is so very cool. Let's see. Was there anyone that I missed in terms? Hey, anyone else got any of the cool things that they have going on? Uh, you know, for me, it's weird. I mean, summer is. You know, I mentioned the fact that I'm going to visit my brother in a couple of weeks, which I'm excited about. But summer is actually kind of a slow period for me. You know, I am not one for being out in the heat. I'm definitely not one for being out in the humidity. I do not react well to humidity. So you know, it's a good time for me. Excuse me for a second. You know, it's a good time for me to kick back and relax and try to get things done. One of the things that I really, really do need to get back to doing, I do admit, is painting miniatures. I have so many miniatures that need to be painted. You know, I envy those who can like. I know a couple people from the Discord. And by the way, if you're interested, I do have a Discord. It's reasonably active. You know, we have a really rather chill group there. It's not going to you're not going to get plastered with information. The most active channel we have is Friday Night Crusades, probably, other than general chat when you know the moon strikes. Friday Night Crusades is probably the most active. We do have a Friday night a Castles and Crusades game that happens on Friday nights from 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. It is a come as you are for whenever you can get there, whenever you have to leave. There is not a real attendance requirement. There's basic setup for creating your character. However often you're able to play, we can waive all the stuff. We make it real easy. The only thing you actually need to play is the ability to listen in on Discord. And beyond that, it's preferable that you do have a microphone. You can type it out, but that does tend to slow things out a bit. You can use your own dice. You can use the digital dice roller that we have in the Discord channel. But if you've ever wanted to get into a game and enjoy a little old school game, I am not the person who's currently running it. I'm a player, but it's a game that has been going for over 4 years now. We are basically in the we have our second castle keeper running the. I did it for about the first 2.5 years, and we have newer characters for this one. Though he's actually set it in the same campaign setting, so some of the stuff that I did he is still holding as having occurred, which is really cool. But yeah, if if you want to just listen in, you're more than welcome to. All we ask is that you do not interrupt the game as it's going on. But if you want to listen in again, Friday nights, 8 p.m., 11 p.m. Eastern, in our Discord. Ooh, All right, so yeah, that was. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Um, I've mentioned losses. I've mentioned, yeah, some of the good stuff. It's. I'm be honest with you. I can't wait. I not that I've got good things coming later this year. I've got a plan for later this year, so I don't want to rush through it. And I, I'm getting at the age where last thing I need to do is being rushing the calendar anymore. But I admit that I am looking forward to seeing everybody again at GaryCon next year. It's a great time. Uh, I miss those people. Um, it's 4 days of fun, and uh, as much energy as it takes for me to get through those 4 days, I miss it terribly when it's kind of weird because the realization is that there's only 9 months to go. Honestly, we've gotten to the point where I think they're talking about the badges going on sale reasonably soon. I know that there's at least one person here who might have that information, but I'm not going to call them out. Just don't put them on the spot. And then it's the planning of games and I normally run 3 games while at GaryCon. They're normally seen games. Plus, I'll normally run one that is not scheduled in the hallways. But if you have the chance to go to a gaming convention, do it. There are uh, some of the larger ones can be a lot to take in. I don't know if I would recommend going to the really big ones as your first because oh boy, at least not alone, because that can be a very depending on what your tolerance level is. That can be an overwhelming experience. I like Gary Con because one, I know so many people there. Two, because it's a smaller con. There's I think the max capacity is 1,000. So it's got an intimacy to it that is that you kind of lose in the bigger con. I've been to PAX Unplugged. I was not a big little con with a big heart is good. Yeah, it's really really good way of putting it. Uh, the but 9 months ago, Vamp 10 months. It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be another fun time. I believe that'll be my fourth one already. Boy. Um, what else? What else is there? Yeah, I mean, I also mentioned that this also constituted an AMA. So, if you have any questions for me about anything, yeah, by then should have been out for this one, but I you know I'm curious as to how many set D&D set because it's weird. I know that there were 5e sessions there. I mean, I know there were Pathfinder 2e sessions there because I was in the same room. They had us in the same room. So, that out of the scenes, Troller game stuff also had a Pathfinder second. I don't know. Um, I don't know that the new version changes anything on that end. Uh, it'll be curious. I'm curious to see how it does. I'm not going to be pre-ordering the books. I will probably check them out when they're at least the core books. I mean, I'm not going to be collecting the new books, but I may check out the core books, especially the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide, because there is some stuff in there that I might find appealing. There's some old school homages that they're doing in those books, and when I get the chance to look at it, I'll decide whether or not it's something I want to do. I just I know that they're making some changes, but I mechanically speaking, I just don't enjoy 5e. I don't mind playing it in a one shot with people. There's a number of DMs that I know that who run 5e one shots, and they're so good that I don't mind the system. I don't want to play it as a campaign. I don't want to run it as a campaign anymore, because there are things that just frustrate me about the system in general. I mean, to the people who enjoy it, hey, listen, that's awesome. If you're playing anything and you're enjoying it, good on you. I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum. I'm not, but it just didn't no longer work for me. And I played it for a good number of years, and and ran it for almost as and it's weird because one of the things that I need to do is I've had a Paizo subscription for like the last 2 years. I really need to cancel it because I've come to the realization that I am probably not going to be running Pathfinder 2e either. I bought the books mostly because I was playing in camp, playing in a Pathfinder 2e adventure path. We finished one. We did a level 1 through 10 adventure path that actually finished. It was the first adventure path of any kind that I ever actually finished, start to beginning to end as a player. So that was really really cool. But now that we're no longer playing it, I realized that I was curious as to whether or not I was going to have an interest in running it. And if I had to make a choice, if I had to run something for friends of mine, and it was the choice between 5e and Pathfinder 2e, I would go Pathfinder 2e just because I enjoy it more from a mechanical standpoint. But I've gone so much more in the rules light direction. Um, Honestly, Castles and Crusades is probably as rules heavy as I want to get. And if it wasn't Castles and Crusades, if it wasn't for CNC, I honestly would probably go back to AD&D 2. There are times when I'm still tempted to go back. I love the Siege engine for CNC. It does make the game so much easier to teach people. The problem is when your entire non-combat adjudication system is based on a single die mechanic, it becomes really hard to break to fix things where it doesn't run the way you want to. And it's easier to tweak a system where you're just tweaking one subsystem instead of the entire thing. Now, granted, none of the stuff that there's maybe with the possible exception of saving throws, which can be brutal in CNC. I haven't really run across many things that I would consider broken from the D20 mechanic. I've also realized getting the chance to play a lot of 1E and 2E lately, that I kind of like being able to use all of my dice. Maybe it's silly, but being able to bring out my percentile die, bringing out the the D4, the D6, something other than combat damage is there's something to be said for that. It just, but yeah, Tempest Venomir. Listen, I highly encourage it. The seventh printing of the player's handbook is currently available in PDF format on their website for free. The 10th printing is coming out, and they had a sign up so that if you signed up for notification about the Kickstarter, you get in. I don't know if that is still active, but it gave you the ability to get the 10th printing, which the main difference right now is the 10th printing is they've gotten rid of a lot of the OGL stuff. Actually, they've gotten rid of all of the OGL related stuff and worked everything. Ah, nice. Listen, if you ever have any questions or there's anything you're curious about, hit me up. I've run CNC basically since they released it during lockdown. We had when lockdown started, Troll Alert Games made the choice to That's when they put it up for made it available, and that's when I really dove in and started running it for people. I've taught the game to at least 35 to 40 people, and it's I'm really happy to help anybody who has any interest in it whatsoever. Anything that any curious about. Hey, oh, thank you, Vamp. I really do appreciate that. Um, and it's been great. It's given me a bit of that old school feeling because the classes and races and all that do fall back to a AD&D type feel to them. And combat is the same. Magic is handled the same way. And then you have the siege engine, which is the D20 mechanic. Which if you're a 5e player, or actually I guess D20 really started with like third edition on. Um, think of it as the D20 mechanic that you know well, cutting out the middleman. We go straight with the attributes as opposed to skills, instead of having perception and insight and athletics and acrobatics and such. You do straight attribute checks, which one of the things it does is it frees the players up. Um, we were just talking about this on the Troller Games. It does free people up so that they're not sitting there staring at their characters, wondering what they can do and feeling limited by what they have there. Just try the thing. Tell me what you want to do. We'll figure out what the roles are going to look like, and we'll come up with a role that you need to hit and go from there. Try the heroic thing. Try the crazy stunt. It should free you up. It puts the power a bit more. Actually, it puts the power both in the player's hands and in the castle keeper's hands. Castle keeper being their term for game master. Because of the fact that you're not as constrained. The game is more rules light. It's weird. It's rules light in comparison, because I'm playing plenty of games where it is truly rules light. It's rules light when you can fit the entire rule set on a piece of paper. That's rules light, and I've played a few of those games, and they can be a hell of a lot of fun. Let me tell you. But it compared to like 5e and Pathfinder 2e, or even Pathfinder 1, really any of them, it's much more of a rule. Ooh, let me try out. Dumbo will at some point. Or is he on vacation this week? No, I just realized that he might be on vacation. I haven't seen anything. Yeah, so okay, I don't have to worry about that. I have to find somebody else I can. As you can tell, this is a very, very professional broadcast. Wily Hobbit. Actually, Ty, where are you streaming tonight? Are you streaming on Guild Superior? Wily, I'm glad you said it. I need to be more conscious of it. I got rid of my Elgato Wave XLR, and I've got currently I have a stand-in thing, and apparently it's for streaming. It's not doing the job that I hoped it would do. So I'll need to work on that. I'll have to figure something out. Not entirely sure why, because the gain on this thing is turned up incredibly. All right. Let me guess. You're not starting until the top of the hour, though, right? I am not going to last till the top of the hour. Yeah. Wally, I hope you're doing well. you know, talking about a little. We've been all over the place, talking a little bit about mental health, about burnout, about struggles. It's been session 3 of 6 of Carbon 2185. Nice. Uh, is that cyberpunk or nice? Well, in that case, I am glad you're here. I've been talking about the fact that they're experienced a number of losses over the last few months. The struggles of being a solo streamer and really in a place where I'm, everything that I decide to do and all these brilliant ideas I get in my head, and you know that the realization, boy, you're gonna need to do these things yourself because, well, you're on your own. Um, and the knowledge that I've seen a lot of people burn out, and I'm trying very hard not to become the next one. I really should probably have turned that particular off because, but like I said, this is a really, really professional, top-notch broadcast here where we do all the things right. Can't you tell? Oh yeah. It's Scott. I know you can relate. It's been rough. I was happy earlier. People were sharing wins that they've had, and it's been good to see some stuff. I mentioned the fact that looking at the Crit Awards nominations and seeing faces that I recognize and people that I've actually had the opportunity to not only get to know here on Twitch or in Discords or in playing games together, but also getting to meet in person and seeing them being nominated for stuff is really cool. Having the opportunity to vote for them. Because every single one of them, all absolutely deserve all the accolades they can possibly get. A group of really, really talented people, and it's cool. I mean, it's a cool thing to see. But yeah, it's journey. And I want to repeat that, make clear that, I've talked about it, but I do have support outside of streaming. I do have people who have been supportive. I am currently getting some help, because it's been a lot for a while. But with the losses that I've mentioned, compounding that. Huh. Well, that's not good. I'm looking at so far. I'm not reporting any dropped frames, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Hopefully that gets sorted out for you. Again, this is also an AMA, so anyone has any questions for me about anything, it is. Chad, I mentioned it before. Well, not before, but I've mentioned it previously. It was a weird thing. We had this past March. We had. Thank you so much. Thank you for the subscription. Thank you for dropping in and sharing with us. And again, just hit me up. You need what do you call it? If you have any questions or just want to talk CNC, more than happy to more than happy to discuss it. And you have a good evening. But I've talked previously and also offline to people that I know that going to GaryCon and Founders and Legends this year was kind of surreal. Uh, you know, I've mentioned the fact that I'm an extroverted introvert, but I am still an introvert at the core. And walking in and knowing that I know a lot of people that are going to be there. I mean, I knew ahead of time, and I it was in my head for months that there's going to be 50, 60, 70 people that I know at GaryCon. It was something that I was very cognizant of. And yet, walking in the door of the Grand Geneva and hearing my name called out within 30 seconds of entering the door, and realizing that, no, yes, it is somebody actually talking to me. And then meeting like I think I had met 7 people that I knew before I got to the front desk of the hotel, which was just wild. I mean, that was for Founders and Legends. The main event hadn't really even started yet. It was the night before. Everybody was just getting there and checking in. I've already run into 7 people. And, I've said this plenty of times. I was never the cool kid growing up. So the idea that I'm going to a convention and the convention is going to have, some 2,000 to 3,000 people there at any given time, and hearing my name called out, my name is a very, very, very common name. My name is Rob. It's not the most common name, but it's not that far off. And realizing that there's a 9 out of 10 chance that, yes, they are actually they're actually calling me, is a bizarre feeling. Just, where am I? What is going on? But it is so, so cool. So very, very cool. Getting to hang out with people, getting to, just do some old style gaming, getting to, old school gaming, getting to play with people that, in person, and trying all the things, trying the different games, having drinks at the bars, having meals together. It doesn't get any better. It's just, I will admit that I am glad that this coming year it will just be GaryCon, so it will just be the 4 days, because I also, the only downside was I knew I needed, because of Founders and Legends and GaryCon being on the 2 separate weekends with the time in between, I knew I needed to manage my energy. And I will admit that, it stung seeing pictures of stuff that was happening when I was forcing myself to take a break. Because I knew I needed the break, and yet I wanted to be there. But I knew if I was there, it was going to hurt me later. But I wanted to be there. And I mean, it's totally a me thing. I'm happy for everyone who is, seeing people getting together and enjoying things. Yeah, I'm glad compared to this past one. Next year's is going to feel more like a sprint, and I'm just going to find a way to power through it a bit more. Pick my spots, just make sure that, pick my spots and figure out a way to do it without overexerting myself, and and enjoy it, and just take in everything I possibly can, because it's such a good 4-day weekend. Actually 5-day, considering that 5-day considering that get there on Wednesday. I am seriously considering not leaving until Monday this year. I have to figure out whether or not I want to do that. I normally take Monday off from work anyway, so I would probably travel on Monday and then take Tuesday off as well. It might be a good way to go. It might be a good way to go, because this way I know there's not I know there's enough people who are still hanging around on Sunday, so that it wouldn't be like I'm there and suddenly I'm sitting there alone and wondering what the hell am I doing here. That's the one thing that I've done in the past, where I've decided to stay the extra day and then realized that I was like the only person there, and I was like, I could have been home by now. Your first year, you didn't leave for home on Monday, or you did? Because it was cool. That first year, or all right, cool. All right, cool. I'm glad to hear that somebody else. It's nice to see somebody, because I'll hang out with whoever. I mean, it'd be cool to be able to just hang out one more day with people and relax, and suddenly it's just a day of relaxation, and not having to worry about what we're doing next. Just finding some time. Oh, nice. All right, very cool. Uh, I gotta be honest. I give a lot of people credit to the people who volunteer there. My definition of volunteering there is running games. Because I've seen the way the volunteers are running back and forth and getting stuff done, and God bless you all. I don't have that kind of energy. That would be more. That would be more of me missing out on things. Yeah, it's just, oof. No, no. I've already got a job. This is my time away from my job and doing the things that I love. Oh goodness me, I can't even imagine. Oh man. All right, so who do we have on? First of all, I want to thank everyone for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I know this was a very different kind of stream. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the gift subs. I appreciate the subscriptions, the people listening in, following. Um, thank you so much for dropping in. Enjoy your dinner, and we will talk soon, my friend. Really appreciate it. Um, Let me see. Throw some. And I realized that no one has entered the giveaway. That's something. I'm gonna cancel this giveaway because no one has entered, and I really probably should have pushed more, but we can. That just gives me more PDFs to use later, especially if we get a night where we have a really big fall. So what is a playing? And I'm pretty sure that I know the people there. I think Lando the Arch. Right now on an ad break, so we'll see. Yes, let's throw some. Let's throw them. Oh, they're part of Greyhawk Creatives. Okay, that solves that. We're gonna send a raid over to Agora Quest. Uh, it looks like they are doing some Forgotten Realms adventuring. I don't know what edition. Might be 5e. I love the I know what overlay they're using because I have that one. So let me get that set up. All right. 13, 16 years. This is, again, thank you so much, everyone, hanging out. I think Jay is back next week. I could be wrong about that. And of course, we have an ad break. One more reminder that this is we are sponsored by Troller Games, makers of Kids, and other fine RPGs, including Amazing Adventures, Victorious, and they are also republishing Last of Gary Gygax, currently in Kickstarter. Thank you again once more for coming out. Pat, I canceled the giveaway because nobody had entered the giveaway, and I had already gone to raid. We have 19 viewers. We're going to raid now. See you all again. Hope hopefully, I think we have next week. Maybe I'll figure out how to on a topic before then. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. A great weekend.